the best wide receiver in Tennessee football history since the year 2000. It might not be who you think. All that and more coming up next right here on your Tuesday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Vols. I'm your host, Eric Cain. Appreciate you guys for being a part of the show, making Locked On Vols your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. Number one spot for Tennessee football news and entertainment 5 days a week, weekday mornings when you wake up. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Going to be a fun show coming up here today. Going to continue on with this, top 10 list that I have, for Tennessee football year since the year 2000. We did running backs on yesterday's show. We're going to do wide receivers on today's show. And I recognize there's some great wide receivers that were just up to the century mark that are going to get left off this list. But we're doing starting your career in 2000 and on, and going to kind of have a fun list here with a number of honorable mentions as well. Would love to hear from you guys if you agree or disagree with this list. Mailbag questions. Every day is your time to shine in segment number 2. And then how good can this Tennessee secondary be? I think it's going to be the focal point. I think it's going to be the best unit for Tennessee football in 2025. All that and more here on a Tuesday show. Power is out at the home studios here pretty much all day Tuesday or all day Monday. And so a little bit difficult to work from home, especially in this industry when you have no internet. So I am recording off my laptop courtesy of a hotspot. So I hope that the audio and video is good enough. Audio should be good enough. Video is probably going to be glitchy. So if you're watching on YouTube, I do apologize, but just kind of is what it is at some points in time. All right, so top 10 wide receivers since the year 2000. Again, like I mentioned in the open there are a couple of guys, Joey Kent, Marcus Nash, Peerless Price, that just missed the cutoff from what we're doing right now. We're not doing all-time wide receivers. We're doing 21st century since the year 2000. And Joey Kent ended his playing career in 96. Marcus Nash ended his playing career in 97. Peerless Price ended his playing career in 98. Those three guys would obviously be on top 10 list of all time for Tennessee at the wide receiver position, but we're doing the year 2000. So for that in itself, number one on my list, and again, recency bias, I hear you. It was a one-hit wonder. I get it. But when you take all things in consideration, the number one player on my list, the best wide receiver for Tennessee football since the year 2000, is Jalin Hyatt. Biletnikoff Award winner, okay? I think he had 1,500 plus yards receiving, whatever that was. Only 62 receptions, okay? And he had 15 touchdowns. Led the nation in yards per reception easily, led the nation in receiving yards, and led the nation, I want to say, in touchdowns that 2022 season. Again, it was a one-hit wonder. I recognize that, but Jalin Hyatt, the Biletnikoff Award, what he did for Tennessee football that year when Tennessee football led the nation in offense and points per game, knocking on the door of the 14 college football playoff and all that and more, he was phenomenal. So Jalin Hyatt is going to be there ranked number one for me in terms of since the year 2000. Number two, this one's a little bit surprising. Not that I didn't already know that he was a dog, know who I'm talking about, but stat-wise, you guys know I'm big on stat-based. Stat-wise, you look at the all-time wide receiver rankings at Tennessee and the stat productions, Jauan Jennings has the fourth most yards ever, receiving yards ever for a Tennessee wide receiver. I'm not going to be honest with you. I didn't know that. I didn't know that whatsoever. 2,153 yards. That ranks fourth behind Kent, Nash, and Price. Joey Kent, Marcus Nash, Peerless Price, who I mentioned earlier. Jauan Jennings, 2,153 receiving yards, 18 touchdowns through the air, 19 touchdowns through from scrimmage. Obviously, he's a dog. He had some big moments here at Tennessee. He's playing in the National Football League, was dang near the Super Bowl MVP a couple years ago if the 49ers would have won. Jauan Jennings has done pretty well for himself now on his second contract. So since the year 2000, I think Jauan Jennings is deservingly so up there in the top three for sure. He's at number two on my list. Number three, this dials it back, baby. This goes back to my childhood when Tennessee had some really, really good wide receivers. Robert Meacham. Had a nice career there in the NFL, specifically for the New Orleans Saints. Robert Meacham finished his Tennessee career with 2,140 receiving yards and 17 total touchdowns. Really, really good player. And he went on and performed pretty well in the National Football League. So for me, Robert Meacham comes in there at number 3. Number 4, this takes me back, although I see the handle every so often at VolQuest.com. I miss Denarius Moore. Denarius Moore comes in at number 4. Finished his Tennessee career over the 2,000-yard marker, 2,004 yards, 19 total touchdowns. Denarius Moore ranks, highly up there in terms of, all-time receiving yards for Tennessee, ranking number 8th in that respect. Averaged 17.9 yards per catch, which is really, really good. In case you're wondering, Jalin Hyatt was 16.4 yards per reception. So that just kind of goes to show you the big play capabilities of a Denarius Moore. Number 5, Justin Hunter. Maybe he's a bit higher on this list, maybe not in terms of overall yards and all that and more, but he had a really, really good, 2011 season? Went on to be a second-round draft pick by the Tennessee Titans. Didn't work in the National Football League, but Justin Hunter was really, really good with Tyler Bray as his quarterback. 1,812 receiving yards all-time, 18 total touchdowns for Tennessee. I have Justin Hunter here at number 18. At number 5. Number 18. Number 5, that's 18 touchdowns. Number 6 is Cedric Tillman. Could be recency bias. I recognize Cedric Tillman went 3 years here at the University of Tennessee and didn't do an awful lot during the Jeremy Pruitt years. But once Josh Heupel got in control, once Josh Heupel got here and was running the offense along with Alex Golesh and, commander-in-chief of Tennessee football, Cedric Tillman went off. He was a 1,000-yard receiver in 2021. He was set for an even bigger role in 2022. Obviously, injuries derailed him that year. He's in the National Football League now with the Cleveland Browns doing some things. I'll never forget that Pitt game where, man, they threw it to him like 22 times in that Pitt game on the road at formerly known as Heinz Field. They just kept going to him because they trusted him, and he meant that much to the system and that much to the offense. Cedric Tillman has 1,622 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns. Understanding the bulk of that came in the 2021 season, but certainly Cedric Tillman's on this list. He comes in here at number 6. Gerald Jones comes in at number 7 for me. Dude was a playmaker. I think he wound up having 16 total touchdowns in his Tennessee career, 13 of which were through the air, 3 were on the ground. He had over 200 yards rushing throughout his Tennessee career. Finished his Tennessee career at 1,710 yards, and again, 16 total touchdowns. I know they did some Wildcat with him in offense as well. Gerald Jones comes in at number 7 on my list. Number 8, shout out to the personality here in Knoxville. I'm actually going to be on his radio show, not with him, but on his radio show later this week on Thursday and Friday, Jason Swain. Jason Swain finished his Tennessee career 1,721 yards, 10 total touchdowns. But remember, he shared that wide receiver room with Robert Meacham, with Brett Smith at points in times, and some other pretty good talents as well. Jason Swain deserves to be on the top 10. He comes in at number 8 on my list. Number 9. Some of those bleak years at points in time. There were some high notes in there as well. During the Butch Jones tenure, Josh Malone comes in. 1,608 yards receiving, 14 total touchdowns during his Tennessee career. Josh Malone, I thought, represented the Butch years at the wide receiver position pretty well. Comes in there at number 9. And then number 10, I threw a bone to Josh Palmer. Predominantly there during the Pruitt years. He's still playing in the National Football League. He's on his second contract as well. He's made probably, definitely more of a name for himself in the National Football League. Josh Palmer finished his Tennessee career 1,514 yards, 8 total touchdowns. There's a lot of honorable mentions that could have been on this list from the years 2000, really the century, the last 24 seasons or so. Based on stats, man, Ramel Keaton certainly is deserving to be in this conversation. Kind of a bit of a compiler, highly rated prospect, really blossomed there towards the end of his career here at Tennessee under Josh Heupel's offense, and of course is playing for the Raiders right now. Ramel Keaton in this conversation. Lucas Taylor, phenomenal senior year back in 2007, I believe. Lucas Taylor, an honorable mention. Derek Rogers had a really, really good year again with Tyler Bray back in the day. And Derek Rogers, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I just wrote down his name. He is an honorable mention, though, of course, he didn't finish his career here at Tennessee. Velus Jones, strong 2021 year. Kind of did a little bit of everything, worked out of the slot, and really kind of laid the foundation for what the slot position would end up being for Tennessee under Josh Heupel. Velus Jones deserving to be in this conversation. Didn't do much at USC, outside of the return game. Didn't do much at Tennessee until Josh Heupel was here. Bayless, obviously a very talented returner, kick returner, and punt returner for Tennessee as well. But he's in this conversation. And then another one that I was really surprised by, again, honorable mention, Marquez Callaway. I didn't think Marquez Callaway had that many yards throughout his Tennessee career, but in 4 seasons, he finished his Tennessee career with 1,646 receiving yards, 13 total touchdowns. His average per reception, 17.9, which is, again, a lot more than I thought it was going to be. And, of course, he had a cup of coffee in the National Football League as well. Anybody else I'm missing? I had a couple honorable mentions there. Ramel Keaton, Lucas Taylor, Derrick Rogers, Bayless Jones, Marquez Callaway. My top 10 wide receivers since the year 2000. Again, had to begin your playing career in 2000 and on, okay, at Tennessee. Number 10, Josh Palmer. Number 9, Josh Malone. Number 8, Jason Swain. Number 7, Gerald Jones. Number 6, Cedric Tillman. Number 5, Justin Hunter. Number 4, Denarius Moore. Number 3, Robert Meacham. Number 2, Jauan Jennings. And number 1, Jalin Hyatt. Obviously, a couple of those are up for the debate there at the top, but certainly Tennessee has had no shortage of playmakers at the wide receiver position this century. We did running backs yesterday. We did wide receivers today. Who knows what position we'll do tomorrow, kind of dialing it back, and I'm going to have some fun on social media later this month kind of on this conversation. We're going to get your votes as well on social media. Who is the best at this position this century for Tennessee football? Hey, when we come back, your mailbag questions, a little bit of a recruiting check-in as well as we continue on here with your Tuesday morning Locked On Ball. Stay tuned. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head on over and to catch a ball game with your friends or your family? Maybe it's a game day and suddenly you realize that you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group of friends to come with you. Game Time can make that possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they're incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, so you know exactly what you're paying for before you actually pay for it, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. It's not just for sports as well. It can be concerts, can be shows in your area, it can be minor league sports, college sports, professional sports. Chances are Game Time is going to have a ticket of admission into said event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, put in the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, put in the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. We do it every single week right here on a Tuesday Locked On Vols mailbag edition of the show where you everydayers get to submit some questions, and I'll do my best at trying to answer said questions. Not going to know the answers to all these questions, but nonetheless, pretty good turnout here this week. This is from the YouTube channel Mr. Jones 6696. He said on VolQuest earlier this week, the question was brought up, what player and what moment would you like to experience firsthand? And he said, from a Tennessee athlete, he said, I can't believe no one said Jalin Hyatt 5 touchdowns on 6 catches for 206 yards against Alabama, ending the 15-year losing streak and becoming an instant legend. All that was in caps. And he goes on, and he has 5 exclamation points. He goes on to say, sorry for screaming there, LOL, go Vols. Now, that's a really good point. I think I said being Aaron Combs getting the last out of a national championship win for Tennessee baseball in 04. There were some other submissions, Dalton Connect moments and all that and more. But, yeah, I mean, Jalin Hyatt's, that was technically 5 different moments or 6 different moments, 5 touchdowns. But the overall performance beating your rival in Alabama on the 3rd Saturday in October, snapping a 15-year losing streak in the process, obviously is worth consideration. And not just worth consideration, that should be the winner for the majority of people. Great stuff there. Mark wants to know, hey, I know a lot of fans are quotation marks, stargazers when it comes to recruiting, but some coaches get a pass. For me, if Gardner and Chop want them, then I'll want them. What other assistants have earned the pass from stargazers, which definitely have not, who in Tennessee history is at par with Gardner? To your original point, I mean, I agree with you, right? I mean, I think first and foremost, we all understand that recruiting is not an exact science. You're going to have great evals, and you're going to have missed evals. Highly rated 4-stars, some 5-stars can be great evals, and they turn into to producing the way that they were ranked. Oftentimes, they're overhyped, and they were it was a bad eval. There was a missed eval, if you will. A lot of times you take a chance on a lower ranked prospect or a lower ranked recruit and they turn into something. But I mean, there's misses and hits in every single recruiting class. Nobody's ever batting 1,000 here. But to your point, I mean, I agree with you, right? I mean, Rodney Gardner has put more guys in the National Football League. He has more Hall of Famers. He has more All-SEC players who have played on Super Bowls and won SEC championships and so on and so forth. I'm going to trust his evaluation more than mine. That still that doesn't mean he's going to bat 1,000. But I get with you there. In terms of some other coaches that kind of had that pedigree, I mean, Philip Fulmer on the offensive line, obviously he knew what all that was about. I think Josh Heupel in terms of quarterbacks. I think also you have to keep in mind too, like in this era of recruiting, especially the quarterback position, it's almost like Tennessee went big and then you got a solid recruit. Then went big, got a solid recruit. You know, you went Nico, Jake Merklinger. We'll see what happens with Jake Merklinger. Heck, he might be the starting quarterback this year. But you went all in on Nico, settled for a really talented quarterback in Jake Merklinger, went all in on, or I guess George was the next one, who's going to be a solid prospect, then went all in on Faison Brandon, that is widely considered, you know, a top 10 player in the country. So I think when it comes to quarterback evaluation, I'm going to trust Josh Heupel. Fulmer for offensive line. Chavis for linebacker. I mean, there's other coaches, obviously, that was before my time, but I mean, I'm going to trust those evaluations more so than, you know, really any of the others. Great questions there. Let's go to and my computer, because again, I'm working on a hotspot right now, is being a little bit slow. All right. How many Pruitt players are left? It has to be in the single digits. Very excited for a near 100% Heupel team to take the field. Really good question. I actually went through the roster, and I thought there would be a little bit more, but I guess it's no surprise. We are entering season number 5 for Josh Heupel, season 2025, and the last year for Jeremy Pruitt was in 2020. So, I mean, again, you know, as time goes on, even with the COVID years and all that and more, but I went through with the roster, and I could only count 3, and maybe I missed a walk-on or 2, but William Wright, who's a walk-on defensive back, and of course, you know, played the final few snaps on that last drive against Alabama in 2022, he was brought in by Jeremy Pruitt. Bryson Eason was signed by Jeremy Pruitt. Dominic Bailey was signed by Jeremy Pruitt. Both those guys are in their 5th years or 6th years. Regardless, they've been here for a minute. But those are the only 3 that I could think of, to be completely honest with you. There might be some more, but I'm probably just missing those. Let's go to Tyler Jarnigan. Where do we sit with the number of recruits? Shabazz, the offensive tackle. Combe, the defensive back. Braden Rouse, the linebacker. Savion Hyder, running back. Darius Gray, offensive line. Tristan Keys, wide receiver. Moa, the athlete. And Joel Wyatt, the athlete. Yeah, we'll see. A number of these guys are going to come off the board here soon. Actually, it was announced, you know, right before I took to the pod to record here, that Braden Rouse is going to announce his commitment on Tuesday, which is today, coming down between Tennessee, Texas. I think Alabama's in that as well, but I think it's Tennessee, Texas, right? Felt really good about Tennessee a couple weeks ago. Not going to lie to you. Going into commitment day, we'll see. I don't know if anything's done one way or the other for either school. But that one's a big one. Obviously, Braden Rouse. I think Braden Rouse and his camp just want this to be over, right? They've been pursued. They've gone on visits, ready to lock down a commitment, then focus on the senior season. So that's one to pay attention to right now. Tennessee feels like they've done all they can right there. Obviously, you know, there'll be some other evaluations at linebacker if he were to not commit to Tennessee. But they got TJ White, and they already have one linebacker there in Braylon Outlaw. So, you know, wouldn't have to be, you know, scurry an awful lot. Shabazz, the offensive tackle. Tennessee, what is that? Tennessee, South Carolina, Ohio State. He's going to come off the board on July the 11th. Combe is going to come off the board here pretty soon, I'm sure. I think Tennessee feels like they're in a decent spot there, but they got to close. Savion Hyder, Tristan Keys. I mean, I feel like that's going to go for a long time. Tristan Keys obviously committed to LSU already. We'll see if Tennessee can flip. Feels like Savion Hyder is going to go a little bit longer. We'll see about that. I think Tennessee likes where they are with Moa, the athletes, with Wyatt. Wyatt pushes commitment date back. Again, I think he wants to play a certain position. I think programs see him as another position, but again, he's an athlete. We'll see exactly where he lands there, but that's Tennessee Vanderbilt. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. There's a lot to be determined in that regard. What's the one or two players before you became a Vols fan that you wish you could go back and play, that have seen play live for the Vols? Good question. I mean, there's a lot in my early childhood that I wish I could go back and watch as an adult. Peyton Manning, obviously, in college. I was extremely young, like fresh into this world young, right? I wish I could go back and watch Peyton Manning. I wish I could go back and really appreciate Al Wilson, okay? I was very young in that regard. Some of these, early 2000 teams, I wish I could go back and watch and cover those teams like I am now. Johnny Majors, though, that was obviously before my time. Johnny Majors, Tim Priest, one of the greatest defensive backs in Tennessee program history. I'd like to go back and kind of check all that out. But honestly, I'd like to go back and watch some of the 86 Sugar Vols, that team, that makeup. Condrez Holloway, I know who was not the quarterback of that team, but Condrez Holloway's someone I'd love to go back and watch and appreciate when he was playing. Just kind of some off the top of my head there. Appreciate the questions there on Twitter. I've got one more. Let's see here. I got one more on the Locked On Vols channel. I think that's it, honestly. Let's see here. Hunter wants to know, is Aguilar the penciled-in starter already, or is there going to be a legitimate quarterback battle with him and Merck going into the fall? A good question. I mean, I think if you ask me, I think if you ask, a lot of people covering the team and all that, yeah, penciled-in starter, sure, from our lens. I don't think that's the lens. I don't think that's how they're going about it at Tennessee. I mean, I think that Tennessee obviously had to get a quarterback out of the transfer portal. Had to. Josh Heupel said as much in that press conference after the Orange and White game. From a number standpoint, had to go get another quarterback. I think Joey Aguilar makes the most sense because he's the most experienced, albeit Jake Merklinger has the most experience in the system, not a whole lot of game experience. George McIntyre's a true freshman. To answer your question, I think there's going to be an honest and true quarterback battle. Okay, I do. A lot of people said, oh, well, Joe Milton's going to be the starting quarterback because Josh Heupel went out and got him that summer, after he became head coach. And Hendon Hooker was already here thanks to Jeremy Pruitt. But it was just said and done. It was going to be Joe Milton. No, Joe Milton outplayed Hendon Hooker that fall camp. That's why Joe Milton began the season as the starting quarterback. And then, of course, he gets hurt. Hendon comes in, and the rest is history. But I do think there's going to be an actual quarterback competition. I do. I think Joey Aguilar is going to win that one out because he's got the most experience. That's just me. But there will be an actual quarterback competition for sure. I think that's it here for this edition of the Mailbag Show. So I appreciate you guys for sending those in, as you always do, @_Cainer, @Locked On Vols, every single Tuesday right here on the show. We call it the Mailbag edition of Locked On Vols. Hey, when we come back, why Tennessee's best unit, the defensive backfield, is one of the best in the entire country. All that and more coming up next right here as we conclude a Tuesday Locked On Vols. A lot of turnover for Tennessee football heading into the fall of 2025. New quarterback, new running back, 4 starters on the offensive line. You're losing a lot of receivers. You lose a first-round draft pick on the edge on defense. You lose a couple of defensive tackles. You lose a starting linebacker. You lose a starting safety. Again, it's college athletics, right? There's going to be turnover every single year. But one position group that I feel like is going to be just A-OK. And not only A-OK, but I think it's going to be one position group that's going to be among the leaders of the Southeastern Conference, among the leaders of all college football, is the secondary. And again, how far we've come, right? Fans hated Willie Martinez. Fans did not like Tim Banks the first couple of years, although stats showed that the secondary and the defense in general got better and better and better, and then took that big leap. I mean, 3 of the 4 years, Tennessee's had over 100 TFLs defensively. And that 1 year that Tennessee didn't have 100 TFLs, I think it was 2022, they finished with like 95 tackles for loss. I mean, the defensive line's been doing its thing the entire time, right? They need to come up with more sacks. Don't get me wrong. Sacks were a bit of a disappointment a season ago, but it's all tied in there. And I think the secondary has just gotten better and better and better. Tennessee secondary last year was good. I think Tennessee secondary this year is going to be the leading force, the leading unit of the Tennessee Volunteers. Sure, let's elephant in the room, Jermod McCoy. Tore his ACL in December, right after the season, training back in his home state of Texas. He's going to play a lot of football this year. We'll see exactly where he is in fall camp. I think that he's progressing very, very well. Will he be ready to go game number 1? I don't know. Even if he is cleared to go for game number 1, how much is he going to play? Is he going to be out there playing 75 snaps a game? Probably not. They're probably going to have to ease him back into it, right? I mean, an ACL certainly is not the career ender that it used to be 15, 20 years ago, okay? But it's still a big deal. Then you see guys like Adrian Peterson run for over 2,000 yards after coming off an ACL surgery. Everybody's different. But Jermod McCoy tore his ACL, and I think that it's going to be a build-up process to get him back to where he was. But you still got Jermod McCoy. On the other side, you got Ricky Gibson. Really, really talented guy. I think he's, as we went over in the show last week, he's one of EA Sports College Football 26 highest-rated defensive players. I think he was at an 87. Ricky Gibson's a good player. At the star position, you have Boo Carter, who was also ranked like an 87 per the new video game. Boo Carter, athlete, going to play a little wide receiver, yes, going to return the football, have the ball in his hands, but his starting point is defense. Came to Tennessee to play defense. That's why Tennessee signed Boo Carter. And he started pretty much in a part-time role and then took over, full-fledged that star position last year from Christian Harrison and made a whole lot of plays. He's only going to get better on that side of the football. Okay, then you look at safety. Sure, you lose Will Brooks, and you had a rotation back there, thankfully, of 4 safeties that played last year instead of just 2 the entire time. But, look at Jalen McCullough, who played nearly every single snap at safety the last couple of years outside of last year when he was in the National Football League. And, he's making plays in the National Football League and doing his thing. There's a reason why he was playing, right? You got Andrew Turntine, who's a veteran. I wouldn't say that he's a standout in terms of being like an all-SEC type guy, but he's a veteran in this system, and we'll see the combination of Caleb Beasley, Idris Farouk, and maybe a freshman that can come in there and help out at safety as well. So there's going to be a rotation again there at safety this year. But not only that, you've also got Jalen McMurray, who was the number 3 corner, who's going to be the number 3 corner again this year. You go out and add Colton Hood, who is a really talented player, played corner opposite of Travis Hunter last year. So we saw a lot of action out there in Colorado. I think his addition frees up Jalen McMurray to go back up Boo Carter, allow Boo Carter to do some things on offense and all that and more. Hood can play some corner. I think Hood can also play some star. The depth I really, really like in the defensive secondary, and I think there's a lot of playmaking ability, big time. So that's my thing. I think Tennessee's secondary is going to be the leading force for Tennessee football this year. It's going to be leading the pack. It's going to be something you can hang your hat on, right? Athlon Sports actually ranked the top 10 defensive backfields entering the 2025 season, and Athlon Sports agrees with me. They have Tennessee secondary at number 8. Quote, the Tennessee Volunteers made the college football playoff last season largely on the back of their excellent defense. Now, they're once again going to need to rely on that side of the ball in 2025. Certainly, the secondary is a major part of that. In 2024, Tennessee had the 29th ranked passing defense in the country, giving up 189.3 passing yards per game. Corner, in particular, should be a place where the Volunteers are able to thrive once again in 2025. Ricky Gibson III and Jermod McCoy are both considered lockdown, even if McCoy is coming off a knee injury, end quote. So Athlon Sports has Tennessee's defensive backfield ranked number 8, right in front of LSU at number 10, Illinois at number 9, behind Clemson at number 7, Georgia at number 6, Penn State at number 5, Ohio State at number 4, Notre Dame at number 3, Alabama at number 2, and Texas at number 1. So Athlon Sports thinks Tennessee has the 8th best secondary in all college football and the 1, 2, 3, 4th ranked defensive backfield in the SEC. Not bad. Not bad at all for a unit that wasn't that good just a couple of years ago, but I think is going to be the driving force for Tennessee in 2025 for a defense that I think is going to be good and certainly have to be relied on as a new quarterback tries to figure some things out. Running back by committee a little bit, trying to replace the production of Dylan Sampson. And the wide receivers who, there's really nobody that's returning that has accumulated a ton of production. So a lot of talent there, but a lot of questions more so on the offensive side of the football, along with that offensive line that they're going to trying to be working out the kinks, have to rely on that defense. And I think it's going to be a top 15 defense this year, but led by that secondary, McCoy, Gibson, Boo Carter, so on and so forth. All right, appreciate you guys for joining us here on a Tuesday Locked On Vols. Josh Ward coming up on Award Wednesday. Hopefully some other news and notes throughout the week that we can talk about for sure. We did top 10 running backs yesterday, top 10 wide receivers since the year 2000 today. What will we focus on tomorrow? We'll find out, and then certainly going to have some fun with that on social media in the coming weeks as well. Sorry if the video is a little bit glitchy. Hopefully the audio has been fine the whole way through. Again, no internet at the house, recording this on a laptop via a hotspot. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but certainly technology is always going to play a hand in some of this as well. But appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you again same time, same place tomorrow. This is Locked On Vols.